My name's Louise Frampton. I'm the editor of Clinical Services Journal, and I'm reporting today from EBME Expo. And I'm joined by Richard Scott, which many of you all know. Welcome, Richard. So,
hello.
You've been speaking at the event this morning. How did it go?
Well, it was great to be here. It's a fantastic event, and I was talking about career development opportunities for clinical engineers supporting medical equipment. The sort of focus I was trying to get across is that we, clinical engineers, have a vital role to play to ensure that medical equipment is safe and available for use. But we've got to develop our careers for a changing landscape. Technology is changing, the health service is changing, and we need to develop our skill set.
And you're also doing some really important work about writing some standards as well, I hear.
Yes, I've recently retired from the NHS. I've worked for 40 odd years in the NHS in medical physics and clinical engineering, managing medical equipment, designing and developing equipment. But I've left the NHS now to focus on a couple of standards development projects. I chair an international standards committee, so I'm leading the development of the 4th edition of IEC 60601-1. This is the main electromedical safety standard that equipment is built to internationally, so I'm really excited to be part of that development process.
And why is it so important?
Well, we want to ensure that medical equipment is safe for our patients and staff. So we now can design equipment so that it's safe, it prevents shock hazards, but also it continues to perform. So the standard is about basic safety and essential performance. So it's really a design guide for manufacturers of all types of medical equipment.
When can we expect to see the standard come to fruition? When is it, like a couple of years away, do you think?
Yeah, it's probably about 4 or 5 years away.
Right.
We have the 3rd edition now, but it's a major restructuring we're doing to try and make the standard more usable for medical device manufacturers and users of medical equipment alike.
I also understand that you've launched a new company as well. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. Well, we all know there are huge challenges for healthcare systems globally, and that's no different for the UK too. We need to modernise our NHS and adopt new technologies. And whilst there's no shortage of new ideas and some great MedTech startup companies in the UK, it can be very challenging to navigate the medical device regulations. Those small companies, spin-outs from universities, have great ideas, but it's difficult to understand the standards and the regulations. So I'm on a bit of a mission. I'd really like to demystify those standards and help companies build safe and effective equipment, but also get them into clinical use, because getting your product onto market is one thing, but accessing the NHS can be really complicated. So I've set up a company, Citizen MedTech, where I hope I can share material, where we've developed a toolkit that will help companies develop a roadmap to both design and develop their equipment, but also to engage with clinicians and scientific staff in the NHS in parallel, which we hope will speed up adoption, so time will tell.
So what are some of the main challenges, the hurdles that need to be overcome that you can advise on?
So one of the main challenges is the regulatory framework. We have new EU medical device regulations. The UK post-Brexit has developed its own regulations. And regulations vary according to different jurisdictions. So America has different medical device regulatory requirements to Europe. So it is a challenge for particularly small companies that don't have those big regulatory affairs teams to decide which regulations to comply with. The other challenge is obviously technological, in that many medical devices now, or even standalone pieces of software, will be classified as medical devices. So we've got to come up with systems that cover everything through from software to hardware. So it's quite a challenge. But my take on it is that if we understand the standards and we educate we encourage universities to teach about the real world application of these standards to their students, then the UK economy is going to benefit from students coming out, entering the workplace, being able to join MedTech companies and really hit the ground running, develop safe and effective products.
Fantastic. And last year you were here to talk about your book, so how's that been going?
Well, I had a fantastic opportunity to develop a book capturing our sort of approach in the NHS of how we manage healthcare technologies. And I wrote that with some co-authors. We published it in 2017, and we came back to EBME Expo last year to really sort of reflect on how well it's been adopted. It's certainly been used in many educational programs, and we hope it provides a framework that lets us get the best value out of medical equipment. I think we've learned we need to keep equipment safe, but we also need to take a multi-professional approach to ensure that all healthcare professionals understand their role in keeping technology safe and effective. So it's good for us all to be talking across professions and supporting each other for patient benefit.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Thank you
you so much for giving up your time today. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.